Hello friends of class 10th. Today we'll be learning about the basics of human eye. That means the structure and the various parts of human eye and what are their functions. Okay. Let us first start with the shape of human eye. See, if I take this eyeball out of my skull, then you will see that the shape is almost spherical. It is not perfect spherical, but it is almost spherical. Okay, and this spherical eyeball has different parts, and each part is having their own functions. Such as the very first part, if light is coming from outside, then the first thing it will touch onto your eye will be the cornea. Okay, now what is this cornea? Cornea is a very thin kind of transparent membrane. Okay, it's a very thin type of transparent membrane, and it is basically a protective organ. Okay, it will stop all the dust, it will stop all the air that is blowing to entering your eye, because that may distract your vision. Okay, so this first part is cornea, right? This part is cornea. The second thing is iris. Where is iris? Just behind the cornea you will find iris. Now what is it? It is again a diaphragm, a thin membrane that is between the cornea and the eye lens. You can see this is the eye lens. Okay, and what you will find in between? In between here you will find this is iris, a very thin membrane. Okay, now the third part is the pupil. Where is the pupil? Pupil is a name of a small hole. Okay, basically pupil is not an organ. Pupil is basically an empty space. It is a hole. This part, the covering of lens, you can see this is eye lens, and this small hole is known as pupil. Now, what is the role of pupil? It will control the amount of eye that is entering your eye. Suppose if the environment is very dark, then the amount of light entering the eye should be large. So what will happen? This hole will open up, and sometimes when you are in a very bright environment, okay, lots of bulbs shining around you, lots of candles. So what will happen? The amount of eye entering and amount of light which goes into the eye, it should be less. So what will happen? This hole will become smaller. This is pupil. Now the eye lens. See, eye lens is basically a crystalline structure or a jelly-like substance, and this eye lens is concave in shape. You can very well see in this that the shape of eye lens is concave. Okay, why it is made up of jelly? Why it is very flexible? Because sometimes we want to see the nearby objects, so the lens will be widen up. थोड़ा सा lens मोटा हो जाता है. Okay, and we want to see the objects which are far away. Then in that case the lens will become thin. So sometimes it becomes thin, sometimes it becomes thick, and depending upon your vision. Okay, so the lens has to be flexible, and who is controlling this? ये कैसे control होता है? How does sometimes it becomes thick? How does sometimes it become thin? Who makes it thin? Who makes it thick are the ciliary muscles. Okay, you can also call them ciliary body, or you can call them ciliary muscles. Where are these muscles present? These muscles are present all around us. Here you can see, and the bottom also there will be some ciliary muscles. So what will happen? See, all the functioning of muscles in your human body is to contract or expand. Contract or expand. ये हाथ के muscles लेते ना, तो it has only two functions. When I extend my hand, the muscles get extended, and when I do like this, the muscle gets contracted. Okay, the same is functioning of ciliary muscles. When you are looking at far away objects, the muscle will stretch and the lens will become thin. If you are looking at nearby objects, the muscles will contract and the lens will become thick. Okay, this is the functioning of ciliary muscles. Now coming to next part, which is retina. Where is this retina? You can see retina is behind the eyeball. ये eyeball है, इसका जो rear most part है, this part is known as retina. What is the retina? This is a kind of screen. Okay, this is what? This is a screen. What does this screen has? The screen has two types of cells, rod-shaped cells and cone-shaped cells. Now, what is the role of these cells? See, if you are watching directly the sun, or if you are directly watching any bright object, then who is going to tell you that intensity of light is very high? It is the rod cells. Okay, it is the rod cells. And what about cone cells? Cone cells tell us the different colors. Okay, cone cells are color sensitive, rod cells are light intensity sensitive. So we are able to see all the colors due to cone cells. If I take away all the cone cells from your eyeball, you won't be able to see any color. The world will become absolutely black and white. And if I take out that rod cells, you will completely become blind. Why? Because intensity of light is judged by, or is told to you by, the rod cells. Right? So rod cells and cone cells, they are both contained in the retina. Alright. Now there are two different kind of humors. Humors means a kind of aqueous substance. One is this aqueous humor. This aqueous humor, you can see it is located between cornea and the lens. Okay. Or you can say it is between the cornea and the pupil, because pupil is basically a hole. What is this hole filled up with? It is filled up with aqueous humor. Okay. Now aqueous humor has one more role to play over here, that it does not let your eyes become dry. Okay. Sometimes when you are in a very windy kind of environment, हवा बहुत चल रही हो, ठीक है, तो what does this air does? The air will make all the things dry, है ना, वो सुखा देती है हर चीज को. कपड़े हवा में रखते हैं, सूख जाते हैं ना. Okay, in the same way, if the air is blowing into your eyes, it will make your eyes dry, but this aqueous humor protects your eye from becoming dry. ठीक है, और इसका कोई रोल नहीं है. Mostly it is transparent, water-like substance. One more humor is in between this. ये जो पूरा eyeball आपका है, ये भरा होता है by this humor, vitreous humor. Okay, now this vitreous humor, what is the function of vitreous humor? Vitreous humor provides shape to the eyeball. Eyeball का shape जो है वो गोल होता है just because vitreous humor is filled in it. जैसे if you take a balloon, no, balloon अब ऐसे ही पड़ा है, inflated नहीं है, तो what will be the shape of that balloon? It will be very loose kind of shape. But once you fill it with water, or once you fill it with any kind of liquid or even air, then the shape of balloon becomes spherical. ठीक है, तो vitreous humor का यहाँ पे वही रोल है. When it is filled in the eyeball to make or to give eyeball a proper shape. Clear? These were the some important organs of the eye. Okay, you need to learn the names of these organs and the functioning of these organs. Right? Last में optic nerve. ठीक है, अब देखो हमारी आंख में जो सिग्नल जा रहे हैं, the signal which is going into the eye is in form of light, and the eyeball is converting those light signals into electrical signals. कहाँ पे होता है काम? रेटिना के अंदर होता है. Okay, retina converts all the optical images into electrical images, and those electrical signals are sent to the brain. Okay, and who takes these electrical signals to the brain? The nerve, the optic nerve. Right? Nerve का मतलब ही होता है to the wires which are in our body, which sends the signals to the brain, or which brings the signals from brain to the body in form of electrical signals. हमारी body में जो भी तामझाम होता है, signals are going here and there, or there and here, they are all in form of electrical signals. Right? So who is taking this image to the brain in form of electrical signals? The name is optic nerve. Alright. So all this was the different parts of human eye, and there are some more terms which you should learn. The first thing, blind spot. On retina, there are some points where the number of rod cells and cone cells are very less. Okay, that part is less sensitive, and that is known as blind spot. There are some parts where these rod cells and cone cells are present in more amount. So that is most sensitive towards light, and that part is known as yellow spot. Clear? Okay, yellow spot and blind spot. The next thing is near point. नियर पॉइंट यानी आप जो भी विजन है आपका, ठीक है, अभी किसी भी चीज को अगर मैं देखता हूं तो इट हैज टू बी एट ए सर्टेन डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम माई आई. Okay, if I take anything very close to my eye, I won't be able to see it clearly. Suppose it's my finger. Okay, I want to see this finger. If I bring it very close to my eye, I won't be able to see it clearly. I have to take it at a certain distance. Okay, now I am taking it at this distance, and now the vision becomes very clear. Now the vision becomes very clear. What is this distance? This distance is known as the near point of the eye. Okay, for a normal human being, अगर आपके चश्मा वगैरह नहीं लगा है, for a normal eye, this distance is 25 centimeters. Okay, उनको बोलते हैं ना, कोई भी बुक पढ़नी हो, मोबाइल देखना हो, या even if you are working on the laptop, you should be keeping it at a certain distance from your eye so that your eye does not get strained, so the vision is very clear. That distance is 25 centimeter. Got it? This distance is also known as by the name of distance of distinct vision. Distinct vision मतलब, if I am reading something, say I am reading letters A, B, C, D. If those alphabets or if those that page is kept at 25 centimeters in front of our eye, in front of my eye, then I will be reading A, B, C and D distinctly. मुझे अलग अलग दिखाई देंगे. But if I make the distance closer, then all the letters will start to merge. Okay, so this distance is the near point as well as it is known as the distance of distinct vision. क्लियर. एक और चीज होती है, इसको बोलते हैं फार पॉइंट. दैट मीन्स आपकी आंख कितना दूर देख सकती है. कैन यू सी वन कॉर्नर ऑफ द रूम? इफ यू आर ऑन द अदर कॉर्नर यू कैन वेरी वेल सी. Okay, if you are in a football field, can you see what is happening on the other side of the field when you are standing on one side? You can do that. Can you see stars? I can see stars. What is the distance of stars from my eye? It is nearly infinity. तो कितना दूर देख सकता हूं मैं? Infinity दूर देख सकता हूं. So what is the far point of my eye? It is infinite. Right? एक चीज और है इसमें, which is known as persistence of vision. What is known as persistence of vision? Let us try this. What is persistence of vision? See, if something is forming an image in my eyeball, then that thing must be staying in front of my eye for 1/16th of a second. यानी एक सेकेंड जो होता है उसका 1/16th पार्ट जो होता है, ठीक है. For that much time, the thing should be stable in the front of my eye. ठीक है, otherwise उसका properly image नहीं बनेगा. Say suppose this is my hand and I will move this hand in front of you very fast. Very fast. I have moved this. आपको मेरा हाथ stable दिखाई दिया? नहीं दिखाई दिया, because it was in front of your eye for a time which was less than 1/16th of a second. Okay. But if I move the same hand gradually, you can see this. You can see the movement of my hand. You can see my hand clearly. Why? Because it was there in front of your eyes for more than 1/16th of a second. ठीक है? तो when you are watching a movie, actually the reels are moving very fast, so that they are moving so fast that you cannot see them as different parts. आपको वो एक continuation में जो motion होता है वो दिखेगा. Okay, so everything or anything which you want to see must stay in front of your eye for 1/16th part of a second. Less than this, you won't be able to see clearly, like my hand. Okay, if the time is more than this, then you will be able to see it clearly. This phenomena is known as persistence of vision. All right, that was something about human eye. We will be discussing in the next lecture about the defaults, the faults or the diseases or defects, to properly call it, of human eye in the next lecture. Goodbye.